Well, hey everybody, John Ricklin here, and this is my review of New Japan Pro Wrestling's New Japan Cup Night 9 event. The undercard, I gotta be honest, was probably one of the, I don't want to say weaker, but it was just one of the more basic undercards. However, the two cup matches, I'm giving a big thumbs up to both of them. Really, those were terrific. Big thank yous always, Jen, for sending me that little C-Block trophy. Really do appreciate it. There is a poll above my head here somewhere. Grade it there, grade this show, and then grade, leave in the comments what you guys think about who's going to win, because we're getting down to nitty gritty. I mean, we got two quarterfinal matches tomorrow, and then the two shows I'm going to be watching live. The semifinals Saturday morning, and then since I'm on the West Coast, I get to start watching the finals very late Saturday night. So that's going to be a tiring day, but it's going to be worth it. I've really enjoyed the New Japan Cup tournament so far. Yeah, there's been some weaker matches here and there. You're going to have that in any lengthy tournament like this. But no match has been particularly bad. So you have Kevin Kelly and Excalibur on commentary. They did pretty well. They called quite a few shows together. And Excalibur clearly has a big love for wrestling and really does have an extensive knowledge. I believe he's worked in PWG or still does work in PWG. So that was fine for what it was. But yeah, Kevin Kelly can work well with just about anybody. But we start off with veterans and young lions mixed in on this first tag match. Tenzan, Kojima, and Yota Tsuji versus Yuji Nagata, Nakanishi, and Yuya Uemura. Yuya got beat up quite a bit in the beginning, got in some shots, but then Kojima, hitting some chops, some impressive chops and everything, and doing all the, corner chops that he does. Tenzan, Nakanishi having a battle, including Tenzan impressively picking up Nakanishi, two big veterans smashing into each other. That was pretty nice. Nagata got in, Yota got in, kind of continuing that little feud of Yota wanting to prove himself against the legend Nagata, but he ends up tapping out to Yuji Nagata, and that was the right call. This one really could have gone either way, but I think they're really trying to build something with Yota here. Now, granted, I don't think he's going to beat Nagata in like a singles match or anything, but still, this is a nice little undercard story that they're telling. So yeah, Nagata's team gets a victory. Then we go to Juice, Mikey Nichols, and Taguchi versus Bad Luck Fale, Chase Owens, and Hikuleo. All about Chase and Juice, even though everybody else, got in some shots and everything. Jado using a cane on Taguchi's butt. And yeah, the cane's not meant to go there. If you haven't seen the match, watch the, first few minutes of it, you'll see what I mean. Yeah, it was kind of bad. It's usually something you'd have to go to a different kind of website to see. But then Hikuleo and hitting some impressive chops, that's pretty much all he's been able to do impressively. Yeah, he hit an impressive backbreaker, but just, they're easing Hikuleo back into this. I mean, he's still very, very green. He's going to get better. But yeah, Taguchi got beat up, and then Juice got in. Of course, he's trying to get a chase, all that. Mikey gets tagged in. Him and Hikuleo have a bit of a scrap. Mikey bomb pins Hikuleo for the 1-2-3. Hikuleo has taken a lot of pinfalls since he's come back. But it was what it was. And then Juice is trying to get a chase after the match. So that's a nice little hype. And that match actually will be taking place the same night as the finals. So that'll be pretty interesting. So will Chase win the U.S. title? I hope not. Nothing against Chase, but Juice already didn't successfully defend the title the first time, that he had it after beating Jay White for losing it to Cody. So give him at least a bit of a run, because otherwise, if you just hot potato the title around every few months, that's not good to do. That's not good to do for any wrestling company or any title. But it should be an interesting match. And then we get an 8-man tag. Honma, Michael Elgin, Yano, and Makabe versus Minoru Suzuki, Taichi, and KES, which is Lance Archer and Davey Boy Smith Jr. All about Suzuki-gun, just, going to war, taking people outside, Suzuki using a whole bunch of chairs and stuff like that. Just typical Suzuki-gun stuff. Archer and Davey Boy Smith attack Elgin. Thank you very much for that. Makabe comes in, battles with Suzuki. Of course, two legends in Japanese wrestling in general, just battling it out. Everybody got in, but Taichi hits a low blow on Honma and then gets a Gato clutch for the 1-2-3. Okay, I mean, it was fine. It was fine. It was the thing I've noticed about some of these like lengthier tours that they do is some of the undercards. Sometimes the undercard is actually quite fun. Other times, I don't want to say it's going through the motions. I'm not saying these guys don't work hard, but it's just kind of basic. And that's kind of what today's show was. Then we get Ibushi, Goto, and Ren Narita versus Naito, Shingo, and Bushi. I wonder who's going to take the pin. Bushi, clearly. No, it was Ren Narita. Naito and Ibushi is mainly about the hype that they had. Shingo gaining some good shots. I will say this. There was besides some great double and triple teaming, Ren Narita did have a good showing here. He really did. He did kick out a one pump and bomber clothesline, but in the end, Shingo did hit another one, 1, 2, 3. And yeah, I'm summarizing these matches a little bit quickly, but also there isn't as much to talk about with these as there were other, shows, because we're getting near the end of the tour, and then they're going to have a couple, they're going to have about a week and a half off, or almost 2 weeks, until the MSG show, which I am very excited for, and I will be reviewing, as that's going to be quite fun. And I will be reviewing that live, by the way. That will be, I won't have a live stream, but I'll have a review up soon after the show's done. But this was fine, and Ren Narita having a good showing, but falling to Shingo was the right call. And then we get Colt Cabana, Toa Henare versus Sonata and Evil. Again, pretty obvious who's going to take the fall here. Though I will say that Colt able to show how much good stuff he can still do in the ring, despite having wrestled for a number of years. 15 plus, I believe, at this point, or at least close to it. He's been wrestling for a very long time, but he is still really good. And a lot of people forget, with all the comedy, myself included, just how good Colt actually is. It was mainly hyped for Colt and Sonata. They're going to be facing off in the one of the other quarterfinal matches tomorrow. There was some comedy. Impressive moonsault by Colt. That was very good. Henare got in, Evil got in, and in the end, a Magic Killer pinned Henare for the 1, 2, 3. Henare got in some good shots as well. He had a good showing, but obviously he was going to be the one to take the fall. And yeah, it was fine. Colt versus Sonata should be interesting tomorrow. And then we get Tanahashi and Shota Umino versus Zack Sabre Jr. and Taka. Mainly just hype for Sabre Jr. and Tanahashi, which should be good. It's a rematch of last year's New Japan Cup Finals. Tana does get in after Shota gets beat up a bit, brawls with Sabre Jr., but Sabre Jr. coming back with some great submissions. The guy makes it look so goddamn easy. Shota got back in. He gets some shots on ZSJ, but in the end, taps out to that sitting weird octopus stretch thing. While Sabre Jr. is looking directly at Tanahashi, who's trapped in a submission move by Taka Michinoku. So yeah, that was a nice little bit of storytelling there. So that was pretty cool. So then we get to the 2 quarterfinal matches. We got Tomohiro Ishii versus Yoshi-Hashi, Chaos versus Chaos, in what was a pretty surprisingly good match. And this is nothing against Yoshi-Hashi, but sometimes his matches are good, other times his matches are eh. And, the guy actually has, the skills. You can see he has all the tools to do well. This was an example of, him really arriving. He's done well in the first 2 matches that he's had. But Ishii with some vicious chops. Not to Yoshi-Hashi back down. He even busted, Ishii's chest open at one point, I think, right above here. Taking off some skin. Ouch. They don't fuck around over there in New Japan. It was a big old slap chop fest. The headhunter, the diving neck breaker and everything. That was pretty impressive by Yoshi-Hashi. Some good near falls, a couple butterfly locks. It looked like, Yoshi-Hashi might get the victory. I knew he wasn't going to, though. I was like, okay, if Yoshi-Hashi got this far, cool, okay. But, even with some more close near falls, I go, and then vertical drop, brainbuster, 1, 2, 3. Tomohiro Ishii gets the victory. And it was a good showing for Yoshi-Hashi, actually. This was probably the best showing he's had in a while. He did really well here. Ishii gained the victory, was absolutely what needed to happen. And yeah, so that was pretty good. Now we get Ishii facing off against who? It's between Okada and Will Ospreay. Well, since Will Ospreay's already booked in a match, at MSG, the G1 Supercard, or, has been challenged by Jeff Cobb, for the TV title versus Never Openweight title. I wonder who's going to win. It was Okada, but it was a damn good match. This was better than the 47th anniversary show match that they had last year. Not that was a bad match, but it was interesting because you had, champion versus champion that time, and this time you have Ospreay as a champion versus Okada, who was not a champion. Now, the title obviously wasn't on the line, but it was good. It was some great wrestling early on. Okada showing up Ospreay coming right back, hitting some great moves, though. He didn't back down. Ospreay has really improved in the past couple years. Just in the time I've been able to watch New Japan alone, that guy has improved by leaps and bounds. And I'm glad he slowed down his style somewhat so he can still walk by age 30. But excuse me, Okada comes back with some great neck focus, doing, focusing on, the damage that's happened to Ospreay over the past few months and stuff like that, and especially right around Sakura Genesis when he brained himself on that, Spanish fly apron spot, which as we know is the hardest part of the ring. But Stormbreaker counter into an arm drag by Okada, that was brilliant. A great strike exchange, the pace picked up. 2 shooting star presses, but that did not pin Okada. Really nice, Os cutter that was countered into a drop kick by Okada. That was impressive. And then after a jumping tombstone, we get the Rainmaker for the 1-2-3. So yeah, Okada's going to face Tomohiro Ishii, and Okada's going to win, but I would not be surprised if they went with Ishii in the finals, because Ishii really shined last year. This might be a way to give him a chance. The problem is, then what are you going to do? Are you going to have Sonata win? Because, it's like, if you have Sabre Jr. get to the finals, it's going to be interesting. He's got to get past Tanahashi first. That's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens. So, I'm going to say that had it not been for the 2 cup matches being so good, I would have said this was a C- show. It's a B-. This is one of the lowest grades I've given to a New Japan show. And that's not to say the show was bad, but really outside of the 2 cup matches, if you just watch the 2 cup matches, that's really all you need to watch. And it's nothing against anybody that competed in this, on the undercard. Everybody did well. It was just basic. I don't know. I just wasn't feeling it today. But anyway, that's what I have to say. It's B-. Agree, disagree with what I said. Like, share, subscribe. Twitter handle in the description. I am John Ritlin. I will see you soon.